If you've ever wondered whether that gallop riff you're playing is actually a triplet, you're not alone. This is a super common point of confusion for many guitarists. This lesson actually comes from one of you. Someone wrote to me a great question asking about the difference between triplets and gallops on the guitar. Now, on the surface, both rhythms have that three-note feel, but they are not the same thing, and understanding the difference can completely change the way your riffs sound and feel. So in this lesson, I'll break down what triplets really are, how to read them in notation, because that's really important in understanding the difference. You'll also learn how to pick them, and then we'll put them side by side with gallops and reverse gallops. That way you'll hear exactly how each rhythm creates a different vibe, whether that's classic rock or thrash metal. If you're new to me, my name is Zach, and I'm here to help metal and rock guitarists solo better, understand the theory behind heavy music, and ultimately glorify God with their instruments. So now grab your axe and let's get ready to rock. So let's tackle triplets first. And what triplets really are the cramming of three notes into where two notes typically are. And this can range across different note values. You can have quarter note triplets, eighth note triplets, 16th note triplets, etc. But what I'm going to show you here is just standard triplets. Now, what you're seeing here are three notes per beat. So three notes are filling in technically a quarter note, but really a better way to look at this could be three notes filling in the spot of two regular eighth notes. And all you do in a situation like this with eighth note triplets is just pick in a standard alternate picking fashion, down, up, down. And since you have a whole measure here of straight up triplets, it just looks and sounds like this. And you're just maintaining that alternate picking, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. And in this case, you have these notes flowing very steadily into each other if they're in sequence as depicted here. So that's just a quick little description about what triplets really are, because a lot of people mistake those and use that term triplets interchangeably with gallops. But before we talk about what gallops are and how they're different from triplets, I have a gift I want to give you right now that'll really help all these rhythms sound way better for you. It's my Elite Tones cheat sheet, and it's a completely free tool that shows you how to dial in killer amp tones. It also includes direct links to some of my favorite free amp sim plugins, and it even has some hacks that show you how to make those digital amp simulators sound like authentic physical amplifiers. Just click the link for that in the description, or go to zachshawguitar.com and download this awesome free resource. So gallops, or in this case, they're technically reverse gallops, and they're what most people think triplets are. And this is where that point of confusion sort of occurs. And from what I see, this is such a common rhythm in metal that I view it as a standard gallop, even though it's often cited as being a reverse gallop. So either way, it's still a gallop. We'll get into the standard gallop after this, so that way you can see both versions of the gallop. So since this is so thrashy and metal, we're going to be palm muting this, so feel free to do that along with me. But the notation here you could see is already a lot different from those standard eighth note triplets, because yeah, well, we have three notes arguably per beat. The note values within that beat, in this case, are different. We've got two 16th notes attached to an eighth note, and that is the, I guess, the reverse gallop, but again, I refer to that as a pretty much standard gallop, especially in thrash music. So what you're going to do to play that is use a down-up picking pattern for those two 16th notes. Since those are the shorter notes, you want to make sure you're being efficient with your picking. And then you're going to use a downstroke as expected, to play that eighth note that's attached. So it'll be like this. And so since that eighth note is twice as long as each of those 16th notes that it's attached to, you're going to want to return on the next note that plays right after with another downstroke. So in this case, we've got a whole measure of those gallops. So it'll be down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down. And since this measure of triplets here has repeat symbols on either side, that means we play this whole thing one more time. So it'll be something like this. Down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down. So this is different from the first measure because there's so much variation in these note values. We're not alternating every other grouping with a downstroke and an upstroke for the first note of that grouping. Here, each new grouping starts with a downstroke. And lastly, we have what is cited as a gallop, just your standard gallop, even though I tend to refer to the reverse gallop as the standard gallop, and in my head I picture this as being the reverse gallop. It doesn't really matter. It's all just a different form of the gallop, but this gallop, this standard gallop here, I'm going to be technical now, is definitely more of a classic rock type of rhythm because I usually associate this with the song Barracuda by Heart. So as you can see, this and the previous gallop are just reverse versions of each other because what we see here is an eighth note. That's what starts the grouping of 3 notes, and that eighth note is attached to 2 16th notes. So it's going to be down, down, up. Again, for similar reasons with the reverse gallop I showed you before, where the eighth note being twice as long as the 2 16th notes, you're going to hold that a little longer, and you can almost ghost pick if you're playing at a slower tempo, where you naturally are coming back up as if you're playing with an upstroke with your picking hand, but really you're coming up just so you can play the second note of that grouping with a downstroke. And then, of course, finishing off with that upstroke. And in sequence, this will have a similar feel to the previous reverse gallop I showed you, because if you're playing steadily, it can feel that way. So you might want to play around with your accenting in order to make sure you're keeping yourself in line and keeping track of where the rhythms are in relation to time. So again, we've got a measure here of these things in sequence, but because of those repeat signs, we're going to play this whole thing again. So it'll look and sound something like this. So just for fun right now, let's go through all versions of these 3-note groupings. So we're going to start with the triplets, follow that up with the reverse gallop, and then finish it off with the traditional gallop. So now you've seen the difference between triplets, gallops, and reverse gallops, and hopefully it's a lot clearer why they're not the same thing, even though they all have that 3-note feel. Triplets lock into the beat in a steady way, while gallops and reverse gallops give you that driving push or pull that's so common in metal and rock riffs. The cool thing is, once you know how they work, you can flow in between them and create way more variety in your rhythm playing. And before you go, don't forget to grab a free copy of my Elite Tones cheat sheet. It'll help you dial in killer amp tones with links to some of my favorite free amp sims and hacks to make them sound like the real thing. So just click the link in the description or head over to ZachSharGuitar.com and download this awesome free resource. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Zach with Zach Shar Guitar. Stick in, keep rocking, and God bless.